I'm McKale Boley, and you're listening to the Cavalier Connection podcast.
And good evening. Welcome to another episode of the Cavalier Connection podcast. I'm Jack Lowe with your co-host, my dad Jeff Lowe in the top left corner, and at the bottom there, Jay Ballard. How are we doing tonight? Start with you, Dad.
Doing great. Hasn't been a lot of UVA sports this week, but we got an action-packed night ready to go here.
Jay?
Yeah, ready to go. Lots to talk about with exciting UVA news and exciting stuff for the podcast, too.
Absolutely. And as always, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter at TalkUVA Sports and on Facebook at Cavalier Connection. And be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Cavalier Connection. And as always, listen to us on Spotify if you're not already. Check that out at the Cavalier Connection podcast. But yeah, we got a lot going on today, discussing a little bit about the transfers from the portal, and we will share our interview. We kind of been teasing it on Twitter. We had an interview with McKale Boley. He was really great. And as always, give our NFL picks where an undefeated has fallen. But more on that later. Let's get started. So Jay, let's start with you. What are your thoughts on the transfer portal pickups that just got finalized today, actually? We got the linebacker Corey Thomas from Akron and the tight end Tyler Neville out of Harvard, and also a local guy out of Lafayette High School.
Yeah, both were big gets. Excited to have them come in. I kind of see Corey Thomas as like the replacement for Lex Long.
Yeah.
And so I think they'll be very similar in how they produce. Tyler Neville, that's a great get for us. He was very highly decorated at Harvard. I think he was two-time All-Conference there. And that young man has overcome a lot. He's a cancer survivor, and I think he's going to fit in very well into the fabric of this program. We have certain types of athletes here and high-character guys, and he came home. He chose Virginia, and we're really excited to have him as a part of the program. And it's a position of need, so he's going to do some big things. Just looking at his career stats, 62 catches, 698 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He was a FCS midseason All-American, 30 career games and 30 career starts. So great get there. And I'm always watching Twitter closely because those things seem to break, 24/7.
Absolutely. Dad?
Yeah, no, I mean, that's true. I think we lost a couple today. We got a couple yesterday. Neville, the tight end room got smaller. We lost Rawlings in the transfer portal. And the tight end room is a little bit thin, so that's a huge get. And I was looking up, coming out of high school, he was a 2-star recruit. And in the transfer portal, he's a 3-star recruit. So big guy. I think he's going to help out a lot. Still a young quarterback. And then Thomas, and we have a really good linebacker room, I feel like. And anytime you get somebody with that kind of experience, he's got 1 year of eligibility. He's going to come in with a lot of experience. And Akron plays a lot of went on the road and played some big boys. I looked it up. He's played against Ohio State, Auburn, Tennessee, Kentucky, Michigan State, and Indiana. So he's got experience and those are all road games. So he's got experience on the road in big boy environments. And so just adding him to the room and anybody with that kind of experience, I think is a good get for us.
Yeah, and that's great to complement the D-line, having a lot of returners coming back. I think that front seven can be something special this coming year, and hopefully it will be. You also notice a lot of these guys are coming back to Virginia. That's what Tony Elliott's been recruiting. Guys that went to high school in Virginia, left out of state for college or whatever, and then they come back. So I think that's pretty interesting. But I'm just glad that we're getting guys out of the portal. That shows that Elliott has a nice recruiting process going on right now, and it shows that we are getting guys that are ready to compete for next year. So I think that's great. All right, we're here with offensive tackle McKale Boley out of the University of Virginia, starting offensive tackle for all 12 games for the University of Virginia and the most improved player of 2023. How are you doing tonight, McKale?
I'm doing great.
Great to have
We
you
appreciate
on.
you joining.
Yes, we appreciate it big time.
Thank you for having me.
So, starting out, we all kind of have some of our questions. So, my first one. So the season's been over for a few weeks. So, just kind of, how's your body feeling? We know you kind of injured in that Duke game a little bit, but it's been a few weeks now coming back. Just weird, no football. So,
Uh, well, my body was pretty much beat up the whole season. I was playing pretty much injured the whole season. I had probably any brace you could think of. I had ankle braces. I had a rib protector after like the UNC game. Had knee braces, obviously. So I'm getting 2 surgeries in like 2 weeks
man.
on
Oh
ankle
wow.
and thumb. So that's what I'm getting.
So just
What's
a
the
little,
recovery time on those?
yeah,
I think 5 months
Oh wow.
around there.
Hopefully back for spring ball.
Yeah, we'll see.
yeah, yeah. That was kind of my follow-up question. Now the other one I had was obviously the season didn't go exactly as y'all hoped for. But coming off of the tragedy that ended the previous season, I mean, there were positives across the seasons. What do you think was your biggest positives as far as the team goes, just coming out of that tragedy?
Mm, I say just staying connected. Really, there was no like waver in anybody's faith to the program or to each other. I think because of the tragedy, we got closer, so it became a bond. Like people say that their teammates are like their brothers, but like I truly felt like a lot of us thought of each other as brothers. So it kind of made it easier to play together. Trust became a little bit better, and although like we didn't get the record we wanted, obviously we didn't get the season we wanted. There was definitely growth between every position group, all the players on the team.
Absolutely. Dad, you want to go to your questions?
Yeah, hey, how you doing? So my name is Jeff. I'm actually Jack's dad. Um, and I actually kind of off of what you just said, I definitely saw, from the start of the year to the end, improvements and excitement. Jack and I, we had season tickets, so we went to most of the games. He was born into this, and me and Jay were just some old guys. We're just diehard Virginia fans since we were little kids. So it's a pleasure to have you on. We're excited for what's to come. Um, First question I had was how offensive line really improved throughout the year. We saw improvements all year long. Running game got really good. Was that a matter of just playing together and just a little cohesion, personnel changes, or what would you attribute the O line play to?
I think one of the main parts is just playing together. Beginning of the season, none of us had really played together or played at all. Like only I think me, Josie, Ty played last year in any of the games. So we go out there and Josie was out for spring ball, so I didn't get to play next to him until we got to like fall camp. And then the right side was on like a constant rotation for the beginning part of the season. So it's kind of like you're playing with different guys. And I think to have a good group, you got to play with the same guys consistently to build trust. So I think as the season went on, kind of got trust in each other.
Right.
And also, I think something that helped was just like we kind of just trusted in Coach Heff's technique. So like hadn't been there that long, but we all know that he knows what he's talking about. So we went onto our bye week before William and Mary or whatever, or after William and Mary, and kind of just went back, watched film. And we saw we're like one block away from popping runs and stuff. So we kind of just went back and watched all that and kind of put it all together.
That running game it started rolling. It was exciting. I love to see a team be able to run the football, especially get a lead and just bury a team, just keep pounding it at them. And that off of that, I know another thing that was probably tough this year. You had two different quarterbacks, and both of them were I really like both of those guys. But what are the differences in playing with two different quarterbacks? Is it hard to adapt to two different styles, or how did that go?
Well, for me, it's not. I don't really like feel a difference because it doesn't change our job, but we have to protect the quarterback anyway.
Right.
So like, I guess the only thing with like you would think maybe there'd be a leadership difference because of the age gap freshman, but
Right.
AC came in, he was able to fit in just like as Tony was. I think they're both great leaders and they're both good at what they do. So I think whatever one can do, I think the other can do. I think they complement each other well. So like if one went down, there was no drop off in
Right.
quarterback play.
And I tell you, there's a lot to be excited about there. I mean, AC man, he was fun to watch, and I love his moxie. I mean, I don't. Which game was it when it was a silly penalty they called on him because his helmet was
Yeah,
halfway off.
yeah,
He
Oh yeah.
just finished it and celebrated. And but man, I love his swag. I really
I
like
think
him. I'm
that was the
yeah.
excited.
NC State
Yeah,
It
the
was
freshman.
the
NC
NC
State man.
State. Yep.
Yeah,
Y'all got to make sure don't let that man go anywhere.
he just has like this like he just has this swagger about him. Like he's
Yeah,
got this Florida swagger, and it's like you wouldn't expect a freshman to just like come in
right.
and have
Yeah.
this like
Yeah. Really.
presence among them, but he does.
I'm sure it makes y'all really play. It gets you excited. You run through a brick wall for a guy like that. So
Yeah.
he's exciting. What about for next season? Is there anyone on the roster that maybe we don't know anything about that you think may the casual fan might not know, but might really have something to show us next year? We'll be excited about.
Mm, I know y'all saw him pretty much well like the latter half of the season. Blake Steen.
Uh,
I say
Yeah.
that's the guy like I'm really high on. So we all came in. He didn't get his opportunity right away. Off season, he was really grinding, and he finally got his opportunity. And I think he did pretty well for getting thrown in halfway through the season. And I think he's only going to get better. And then also another guy, a receiver, didn't play much because first year was ACL. This year, hamstring issues is Dakota Twitty. I
okay.
think once
Okay.
he's fully healthy and can actually play, I think that would be one of our biggest weapons having him and Malachi out there.
Gotcha. Yeah, and then also one more we have coming in. It was exciting to get Tyree
Yeah,
out of Notre Dame. Did you already know him, or you have any relationship with him, or?
I did not know him. I just knew that AC and some of the players were trying to recruit him kid hard. And I
I think
watched.
AC had put on Twitter before he announced. I think he said we got him. Kind of
Yeah,
spoiled it a little bit, but we're excited. We were excited to get him too, and I think that Malik Washington also helps if you can transfer. I mean, the season Malik had was unbelievable.
yeah. So
And what's
we
that?
kind of see it as like the Malik Washington effect. Like
Right.
receivers are going to see what he was able to do in the 1 year he was here, and it's like
Oh
maybe I
yeah.
can go there and do that. So
Yeah. Yep. Yep. We used to be tight end university with Heath Millers, and now we got. I mean, Malik Washington came in. I've never seen a season like that. It was 100, I don't remember his total catches and
112, I think, maybe.
112. That's just unreal. I mean, it's
yeah,
exciting, and now we bring in Tyree to go with Malachi Fields right there. I mean, there's a lot of weapons on offense. I think next year is something to really be excited about. And also, I mean, AC's gonna be a sophomore and get all that experience as a freshman. There's a lot to be excited about. Ben, what you got?
Yeah, so kind of talking about the portal, McKale, what are your thoughts on the portal in general? I know we've lost, I think, maybe 10 or 12 guys, and you talk about how tight the program is. I know it's tough to lose those guys. We brought in a couple to the program, but overall, what are your thoughts on the portal? Is it playing time that is causing the mass changes across all of college football, or is it other factors?
um, I think playing time definitely does have a factor, but I think for like a lot of people, like people don't know other reasons, but like I don't think playing time is a sole factor in transferring. I know some people may go out of state for college and they get there and then they realize maybe this isn't for them. They want to be closer to home, so they'll hit the transfer portal to go back home. And then some just, I guess, it's more like developmental wise. They may think they can go somewhere else and develop a little bit better. But sometimes playing time is the case if you're. I understand going in the portal if you're buried behind a bunch of guys and you don't think you will see the field at this university or whatever. So I think that is in your best interest to try and go somewhere where you can play.
Oh yeah, for sure. I definitely understand that. I mean, you look at the basketball team last year. We had the young man that transferred back to Creighton. To be his girlfriend, play volleyball at Creighton, and he ended up
Yeah,
wanting to be closer to home. So
yeah.
totally understand that.
Yeah. Like the only like negative side I see to it is like when I was coming out of high school, there's it's kind of harder for high school players to get recruited because like if you're a coach at the college level, you're going to take a transfer over a high school player because they've
Mm-hmm.
had college
Oh
development, so it kind of takes away offers from high school players.
yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. Is there anybody in particular that you would have kind of seen enter the portal and you think, man, they could be a great fit here?
I was trying to get John Pierce, the DN from William Mary, but he ended up going to Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought he
Uh,
was a great player. He was definitely a dog.
yeah,
That
yeah.
was one of the main targets I wanted to get here, but it was like issues that we couldn't get him here. So
Right. Well, hopefully, I'm sure we'll grab some more. Hopefully, like Jeff was saying, we see the guys recruiting hard on X, and it's good to see. So, kind of outside looking in, it really seems like you guys love Coach Elliott. Like, and so what is it about him that makes you guys buy into his vision so just so much? I guess.
well, like for me, it's just like the outside like world, like fan stuff don't like get to see the things that Coach Elliott does for us. So
Right.
for our program, it's like it's a lot bigger than football. So
Yes.
we want everyone here wants something to do after football because football is not guaranteed to last you for forever. So you need jobs and opportunities after that. And so Elliot just does a great job in making sure we're locked in class. Like he always, we don't go by like student athletes, we're scholar athletes. That's what he calls us. So every day, after every practice, go to class, be a scholar athlete, sit in the front. So I feel like he cares about us as people, and I think a lot of the players respect that because sometimes you can get lost in just, oh, this is a football player, this is my
Right.
player, and he kind of sees past that, and we're like all his children or whatever. So he all wants us to succeed in like the work life. So we had the other day we had a career day where a bunch of companies and alumni
All
came down, give like seniors have their interviews, job opportunities, and people like me, second years, we get to meet new people and hopefully build connections for whenever we graduate.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. That looked like it was an awesome event for you guys.
Yeah, it
And from
was.
what I read, it was one of the only we're one of you guys one of the only programs in the country that has that type of event.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea to set up all your players for success beyond football and then to have alumni come back that went into the work field and had success come back and show us that it is possible to go and do something other than football. Like football is not your only option, even though you're playing it right now.
Right, right. That's awesome. So one of the things that Coach talked about a whole lot was, and you kind of talked about a little bit, is keeping the outside noise out. Keeping it within you guys. How hard is that with social media and all of the ways people have contact? How do you do that?
Um, for me, I honestly like don't think it's that hard because we we as the players know what's going on inside our facilities and stuff. So
Right.
really, whatever anybody else says online, whatever, it's just their guess or their opinion. They don't actually know what's going on. And
Sure.
me, surprisingly, I find looking at all that stuff funny. Like
Yeah.
whenever people are talking online, like see, I actually like looking at that stuff. Some people don't like it because like it gets to their head, but like I love looking at that stuff.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
I got one question that Jeff and Jack don't even have. This is something I was going to ask you. I do want to get your opinion on the Florida State getting left out.
Uh, See, that was it's crazy to me. I understand. I can understand why, but like I just don't think it's fair to leave them out. I mean, you went 13-0 in your conference. You won your conference championship. Like I understand Jordan Child was hurt and they were talking about third string quarterbacks. It was like the second string quarterback was going to be back anyway
Right.
for
Yep.
for the game, and he did play pretty good. when he was playing. So I just don't get how you can use the no quarterback like as an excuse. Like, yeah, they may struggle versus Louisville, but like they're 13-0. Even if they might go into the playoffs and lose, they went 13-0. So it's like, what's the point of even winning all your regular season games if you're not going to get into the playoffs?
Right, right. Totally, yeah, totally. Yeah, I see what your point is there. Jack, you want to finish us off here?
Yep. So I got a couple, I'd say, kind of quick questions. So starting off, tell us what it was like a little bit about growing up with a dad that played in the NFL. Actually won a Super Bowl. Did you realize like how crazy and special that was at the time when you were growing up?
Oh yeah, I knew like at the time it was crazy because like I was able to go to the Super Bowl. I was in first grade, so I was able to
Oh
go to
wow.
that, and so like then I was just like, yeah, this is crazy. Like I would go to school and I was like, no one else at this school is going to the Super Bowl. It's just like yeah, so it's like yeah, this is crazy. Just like the environment of just being able to go to games with him, sit in the box and stuff. So I knew that like that was a privilege, and so.
Yeah. Do you think, are you hearing anything else yet about your own NFL prospects potentially getting
Nah,
scouted?
I know like after the NC State game, I saw stuff about like 2025 like draft prospect or whatever after one of my blogs, but I haven't really like looked too much into it. Just been
Mm,
playing.
yep. Do you have an NFL team that you root for? If you're, I know you're wearing the
It's
Giants
on
hoodie,
his
so
shirt.
yeah,
Yeah,
Giants.
I'm a Giants fan for life. Even if they suck right now, we're second. But my man Tommy DeVito, he's
Oh
pulling
yeah.
us out of the gutter. So
We know a thing or two about sucking, McKale. We're all Commander fans.
Yeah, so
see the Giants will always suck, but we somehow always find a way to beat the Commanders.
Yeah.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean you're
Every
not
time.
wrong. So since we're kind of getting right up here on the holidays, do you have any special holiday traditions maybe with your family?
Not really. Normally just chill. So I normally split it, my break up because I'm from Mississippi. So I go, my mom was in Mississippi, so I'll go there for half my break. And then my dad was in Arizona. So now I go there. So like with me and my mom, it's just me and my mom. When I go to my dad's, it's way too much family. So I have seven siblings. I have
Oh
seven
wow.
half siblings. So we
Yeah.
haven't all been there together in a while, but like we used to all go. So it's just like seven kids, just adults everywhere. So kind of just like big family time.
That's awesome.
How about, is there a most memorable Christmas gift you may have received as a kid, maybe?
Uh, I'll say, I guess that's actually hard. The thing that I've gotten the most that I liked the most was like actually recently. I think it was 3 4 years ago. Was actually this hoodie. So
Oh yeah.
this was their travel warm up for a Super Bowl that my dad
Oh
had.
wow.
Oh,
And so
Wow.
he gave me his whole jumpsuit or whatever that they traveled in.
Oh wow.
that's
That's
So,
actually
awesome.
special, yeah.
It's very
yeah.
special.
And then my Super Bowl hat also that I got from the game.
Yeah.
So
Oh
I still
wow.
have that. It doesn't have the little Super Bowl logo and stuff like fell off, or the Giants logo fell off, so it doesn't have like who won it anymore. But I still got it.
Did you go out on the field after they won the Super Bowl with your dad?
Uh, no, they actually did not let me go out on the field.
Oh dang.
Yeah, I was. We were like in the like ninth or 10th row, and they actually like I rode like a wave all the way down to the front row. Like I got carried down so I could see
Oh,
my dad.
Oh
I gave
wow.
him so I gave him a hug and everything, but they wouldn't let me on the field.
that's cool.
That is awesome. That is
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, so one final kind of question here, going a little bit off script. Do you have an idea maybe what you'd want to do if football doesn't work out? Obviously, we were just talking about that career day thing. So,
Mm.
just like a backup plan almost, if you have something that you want to be into.
Yeah, so right now I'm still trying to figure that out. So I wanted to I wanted to do kinesiology when I came to UVA, but couldn't go down that path because our practice schedule kind of doesn't like go with the class schedule because we practice in the
Hmm.
morning and the class are then. And then I kind of wanted to go down the PT route, go into physical therapy because So since I started playing football, I've always been in the training room. So like I've just been around athletic trainings and stuff. So I was like, maybe this would be cool. So I took like some classes in high school, and then like I got here, I was thinking maybe do PT, but like going down the PT route is just so hard, especially UVA. Like the biology classes and all stuff are just
Oh
like
yeah.
crazy. Like I don't ever hear anything good about them. Every person I talk to, it's like, oh yeah, that's gonna bring your GPA down. I was like, oh, thank you. Like that's a voice of confidence. So right now, my major is sociology. I
Okay.
kind of want to go into like some type of social work. I kind of just want to like I want to give out to the community. I want to go to like wherever I am, just like build something up for the community, help that community or whatever. I just want to help people. So that whatever way I can do to do that.
Yeah,
That's really
absolutely.
awesome.
That's awesome. All right. Well, we'd like to thank you for joining us tonight. It was a real pleasure talking to you. We really appreciate it. Maybe we could have you back during next season also to talk about some matchups. But looking forward to football season next year. Thanks a lot for coming on.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. It was a pleasure.
It was
Thank
a
you.
It
pleasure.
was
Speaking of football, though, we actually got to talk to McKale Boley. Let's listen to what he had to say. Big thanks to McKale Boley. That was really special. We really appreciate you coming on. Great interview. Great guy to talk to. You guys have any thoughts?
Um, he was a pleasure to talk to. You could see that UVA education shining bright. Very bright man. You take football off the table. I mean, just hearing what he wants to do when he gets out of school. If NFL's not and football's not for him, he wants to make a difference in the community wherever he goes. He wants to be a giver. Super nice guy. He had great things. I like what he had to say about Calandria. It's cool to see how those players feel. They feel how we feel or how I feel because I get excited watching that guy play.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and other than that, I mean, he's just an outstanding representation of the football team. One last thing I really thought was cool about what he said was, getting the insight to how the insides of the football team and the Tony Elliott. There's a lot of folks out there who are not Tony Elliott people, but you know, I know Tony Elliott's. We're football people ourselves, but Tony Elliott's preaching not only football, but life after football and creating men when they leave this school. And sometimes us as fans, fan is short for fanatic, and which means sometimes we get a little crazy. But be able to see the insides of why these guys like Tony Elliott and why I believe the program actually is on the rise. If you finish, what were we last year? 3-9,
39.
and for your guy to say, look, man, he's ready to run through a wall for that guy. So Tony Elliott has not lost that team. He's not lost that locker room, and there's good football ahead, I believe. So
I absolutely agree. I love the whole scholar athlete thing, and I just think that that's what Virginia has been about, really, with all sports for years now, especially with basketball as well. Just putting other things first to go with the sport. Obviously, we want to succeed in the sport, but it's just so important to have stuff outside of the sport, outside of football, because the NFL is. I mean, when you look at the odds and the percentages the math people have done, it is a very small percent for you to even make it to the next level. And so the way he's preaching to those kids and just the community based stuff, all that stuff. I mean, I think it's just incredible. And yes, it definitely shines a light on a part of football that you don't see from Tony Elliott. Sorry, Jay, go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was just gonna say, everything Jeff said, I agree with, and he's just a great ambassador for the program. You know, he's fully the guy that I would expect to, like, at the ACC media day coming up, in August or whenever they do that, July, August, right before the season starts. You expect a guy like him to be up there to represent the university, and he'll do it very well. The other thing I thought was interesting was, we see these guys, and he was like, "Man, I was banged up all season." He's getting ready to go undergo 2 surgeries, and so we might read that or hear it, but when you I mean, he's just one player. You could probably go down the list of guys on the team, and they're undergoing quote unquote minor surgeries. Is I don't know if there's such thing as a minor surgery really, but just admire the heck out of him, and such a nice kid, and I really look forward to what he's going to do in the future.
Absolutely. So now, moving on to our NFL picks. Current standings as a pod. Well, first off, our record as a podcast is 16-11, not so bad. Jay, you want to give us the rundown on the records as you always do,
Sure.
including
So
yourself?
So, as everybody knows, I was 6-0 going into this week. I did not survive, unfortunately, with the undefeated picks. But I will say I'm still undefeated on Sundays, which, as we all know, is when the NFL is mostly played. I should have stayed away from that Thursday game. Jeff and I both lost our Thursday night plays, but I did manage to win both plays on Sunday. So I'm 8-1 on our pod picks.
I have no
Jeff
dispute.
stands Jeff stands at 5-4, and Jack is bringing up the rear right now at 3-6. But as Jack has pointed out to us in conversations, he's not legally, he doesn't have the experience with the gambling picks like his dad, and so yeah, he's got to learn how to look at these lines and
hmm
find the winners.
I got a year to go, and then I'm on the train. All right, so I'll start us off this week with my first pick. I'm taking the Bengals -3.5 over the Vikings. I'm a big believer and fan of Jake Browning. I think he's got that inner Joe Burrow in him, despite Joe Burrow being on the sidelines. He already beat Jay big time a couple weeks ago for his big Survivor Series thing, which is unfortunate. But I don't think he's gonna let me down. So I think he'll get it done over the Vikings.
All
Jay,
right. Well,
you
I'll
got your
take the
pick.
next one. So my first pick is probably the one I feel best about, and that's the Rams at Washington. Rams are -7. Um, Stafford's been playing really well lately, and one thing Washington is not doing well is playing the pass. And they lost Jamin Davis for the season. He's out. I think they're going to do whatever they want offensively. McVay is going to come in and want to run up the score, I think. And I think they'll do just that. And I'll take the Rams in a blowout, 38-17.
Okay.
So before I give my first pick, I do want to point one thing.
Oh boy, it's going my way.
So Jay quickly gets his picks out there before we can even make a pick, and we
And
kind
that's
of made a
very
little
true.
deal that we're
Well,
not
there's
going
a
to pick the same games.
so behind the scene, you got a show doc, right? It's in the Google Doc. Everybody can go in, and you know, I get in there. I'm just
so
saying.
so Rams -7 against Washington. I would have liked to jump on that one myself, but anyway, that'll lead to a good record, And so I was slow this week, and Jay got his three in, and Jack got his three in before I could pick, so I had to go with the leftovers. I'm a Friday after Thanksgiving guy, I guess. But my first one, I'm taking Bills -2 against Dallas. The game's in Buffalo. Dallas is at an all-time high right now. They're so excited they beat Philadelphia, and we know what the Cowboys do. They find ways to choke in big games, and the Bills are a desperate football team. Josh Allen needs to come out, put on a nice little show, and the Bill defense shut down CD Lamb. That's all I care about, and Dak. Get to Dak, shut down CD Lamb, and win this football game by 3 or more. And that will lead to fantasy victories, and it'll lead to
Well, we'll get into that later.
gambling wins and big money. So give me Bills -2.
All right, Jay, you want to go next for your second pick?
Sure. So my next pick is going to be the Broncos at the Lions. I'm going to take the under 47 points in that game. The Broncos defense has actually been really good. Statistically, if you look season long, they still are not a good defense. But if you look closer in the last 3-week window and then 6-week window and things like that, they are doing really well. That Miami game that they gave up 70 really makes their stats look terrible. On top of that, the Lions at home are obviously have played better at home than on the road. 47 has been a big number this year, though. There's not many games that are hitting that,
Mm-mm.
and I don't think Russell Wilson is going to contribute a whole lot to that total. I see this something like a 24-21. It's going to be close to that number, close ball game, but I think it stays under.
All right, Dad.
Now my next I'm staying in the NFC East, and I'm taking the Eagles -4 against the Seahawks. The Eagles have lost 2 in a row, and I don't see any way they're losing 3 in a row. And I see them covering. Um, I see, even though they're 10-3, I see a little bit of a desperate team that's going to come out this week to show that they're not done. Dallas, I took Buffalo, and Dallas is riding high, but they're gonna fall flat on their face. They're gonna lose to Buffalo, and Philadelphia's gonna be right back at the top of that division. So give me the Eagles -4, and AJ Brown 2 touchdowns, 7 catches, and 110 yards.
Man.
Oh no.
Yeah.
My next pick, I'm moving over to the AFC with the Steelers and Colts. I'm taking the under 42. Um, I just don't see it being high scoring. But last time I took the over under, I was completely wrong. So I mean, we'll see. But I just don't. I don't think. I think the Steelers win this game, but I think it's some crappy game, like 10-7, something crazy. I just don't see it being a great game to watch. Uh, but moving into round three, Dad, start us off.
Well, after that interview with McKale, I kind of want to take the Giants and stay in the NFC East and take the Giants just in honor of him. My original pick was going to be the 49ers -13.5 against the Cardinals, but I think I'm going to make a switcheroo. We're going to just stay in the NFC East.
Oh boy.
Mm.
What's the spread on that Giants Saints game?
Saints -6.
Oh, man. McKale's dad won a Super Bowl in New York, and McKale was mighty generous tonight, and I'm going to believe in that young man. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to make a switch on my pick. Give me the Giants. What are we plus what?
Saints -6. So yes, +6.
+6. Oh, yeah. I mean, DeVito and the Giants and the luck of the Boleys, give me the Giants +6. Mark it down.
All right. My final pick, I'm going to go to the NFC South, which has been quite the race, I'd say. I thought it was a little small, but Falcons -3 over the Panthers, and Vegas probably knows something that I don't know, because there's always a reason why it's a little smaller than I would think. But it's just the Panthers are a terrible football team, and I don't see Bryce Young having a crazy game. But the Falcons, I'm also not a big Desmond Ridder fan, but I just think they get it done against the Panthers. The Panthers are a terrible team. Give me Falcons -3. Jay?
Bijan, he'll be 18 carries for 82 yards, 8 catches for 73, a rushing touchdown, and a receiving touchdown. And who knows? It may be a passing touchdown too.
Oh wow.
Jay, you want to give us your final pick before we get into all that fantasy jazz?
So my last pick is the Jets at Miami. To me, this seems like a super low total. They have it at 40, so I'm gonna take the over 40. The Dolphins have gone over that total in all, but I think it was either 1 or 2 games for the season have hit over 40, including a win over the Jets, 34-13.
I was gonna say DraftKings is at 38 now.
It's at 38 now?
38. Because I was like, you got to be kidding me. Like, Miami,
the Dolphins could score 30
they could score 38 themselves. And they're pretty upset, probably.
That really worries me because they obviously know something. But can I lock in 38 instead of 40 since it's there as we record?
DraftKings. Hey, DraftKings is our unofficial sponsor.
over, yes. Soon to be sponsor, we hope. Over 38 in the Jets and Dolphins game, and I think it's probably going to be 4 touchdowns between the running backs. Jeff, you want to, Mostert and Achan. How do you
I,
feel about them putting up about $180 and 4 touchdowns between the two of
I
them?
tell you, what I like in that game. I do like the over 38 pick. I see Garrett Wilson with 2 scores, about 130 yards, and he's getting about 15 targets a game. Zach Wilson just threw for over 300, and I envision he's going to throw for at least 280, 300 in this one, and of those yards, at least we know at least half of those are going to Garrett Wilson. And this is a big Garrett Wilson
All right.
game. So if you look at the player props, all you out there, check the Garrett Wilson. I've given y'all plenty of player props to play this week. You can make big money. Check Garrett Wilson. Take the over and everything. And just know if you have any gambling issues though, 1-800-GAMBLER. And these are just our picks. These are not
For entertainment purposes only.
Entertainment purposes only. Give me Garrett Wilson for about 140, 150 yards, about 8 catches, and a touchdown or 2.
All right, so let's clear up the smoke really quick for most of you who wouldn't know, what we've all been talking about during this whole segment, mainly the two of them, is it is playoffs times. Wow, playoff times.
Whoa.
Playoffs time. Wow. All right.
Jack's so nervous he can't talk.
Playoffs time for fantasy football. So 2 different leagues here. They've had their one that they've been doing for what? How long has it been now? Over 10 years?
Year 15 right now.
Year 15.
Year 15.
Unbelievable. And if you didn't know, my dad, Jeff Lowe, actually invented fantasy football back in the 90s, the 80s, with the newspaper. He started it all, but yes, they've had their league going forever now. I'm in my league with the two of them as well. I face... What's you holding up the fingers for?
Jeff knows exactly what I mean. Why am I holding up 4 fingers, Jeff? It ain't for the horsemen.
Every squirrel finds a nut here and there.
Four championships in 14 years.
Oh, good Lord.
That's what I'm talking about. About to be number 5, victim number 1. Right across from me.
So the two of them play in their league, and I actually play Jay in our league as well. So, and you were talking about A-Chain, Jay. It was pretty interesting, because if you want him to go off, that's perfectly fine with me, because that's going to be against you,
I'll sacrifice the B League, Jack.
Yeah. So,
but Jack, I'm favored by so much.
League.
He can go off, and I can still beat you. So
you'll be favored by 15, I think. 15,
I hadn't even
25.
set my lineup, Jack. That's the scary part.
I looked at your lineup. There's no one that you're going to put in that'll do any better of a job than you already got. I've done my research, all right?
I don't know.
Hey,
you snuck in. I was.
I tell you what. So I was going to talk about that. We had a crazy sneak in. Basically, I had to win. I needed someone else to lose. And the projections, I think I was projected to lose by about 40. And my dad actually had to do me a favor. He was projected to lose by about 50. So everything that needed to happen found a way to happen, and here I am in the playoffs. And looking ahead, if I find a way to beat Jay Ballard, guess who'd be next who I'd play? Who I was talking about the other week. 2.0. Coming for you, man. Yeah. Coming for you. Yeah. But all I know is I'll probably not even make it out of the first round because I said that, but, you know.
Hey, you live and learn.
But...
Oh, well, we can't wait till next week to review this week's fantasy football results.
Yeah. Well,
and I'm very confident sitting in this chair right now.
I'll tell you, if both me and my dad could get a win, Jay might just not show up next week. He might have to take the week off. The A week and the B week.
If I lose both of those, I'll be dead inside. I will be dead inside.
I thought you were about to make a bet. If I lose both of those, I'll shave the beard or something.
No, I'll be dead inside.
Oh man. Any other fantasy football thoughts?
No. I think we're good to go.
The time for talking is done. It's time to start scoring points.
We talked a lot. I talked a lot. So let's go wrap it up for this one. Unless y'all had any final thoughts.
Go Who's.
Go
Go
Who's.
Who's.
Appreciate you all tuning in. Again, make sure to follow the social medias at Talking VA Sports on Twitter, at Cavalier Connection on Facebook. The YouTube page is now set up at Cavalier Connection. Subscribe to that. Follow our Spotify at Cavalier Connection Podcast. We appreciate McKale Boley coming on. Again, I thank you two for coming on and joining me. And it's been a fun episode. So we'll see y'all next time. Go Who's.